All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart, both books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing the classic Hugo Award-winning novel by C.J. Cherryh. It is called Downbelow Station. This book came out in the early 1980s. Let's review the cover first, because you know I love graphic design and I love cover illustration. This is a very classic 1980s cover here. It's got a great illustration by David Mattingly, who's done a lot of science fiction illustrations, specifically for, David Weber's Honor Harrington series. I mean, David Mattingly is just one of the classic sci-fi illustrators, and that's a great painting of our main star station where this book takes place. Now, this is the third C.J. Cherryh book I've read. I've read the first two books in her Foreigner series, which I really, really liked, and I'm already sensing a theme in her writing, and it is it's space opera, but without all the laser blasters and starship fights and all the stuff. It's kind of like she writes the Herman Wouk, John Jakes sort of family saga, diplomatic saga versions of space opera. Now, in her Foreigner series, which is about 22 books long, I can tell she is really taking her time to lay out this saga, this diplomatic saga of first contact. Downbelow Station, which she wrote many, many years before she started her Foreigner series, is just sort of like a condensed version of Foreigner, in that this is also a first contact book. This is a humanity leaving Earth and venturing out into the stars type of book and saga. It's just more condensed than the Foreigner. So let me try to explain this. So in the prologue, we find out that humanity is expanding out from Earth through light speed travel, and they're not finding necessarily any planets around any stars that are habitable, but they are finding that they can put a star station around these certain stars that are set up sort of like the sun. They're about the same size as the sun and things like that. And they can set these star stations that are about the same, distance away from those suns as the Earth is from our sun. And those star stations can just act as a place where humanity can live. And these star stations, they've built 8 of them, right? And the Earth provides all of the supplies to these stations back and forth. And so there's a lot of merchant ships going back and forth and back and forth. And then they discover the 9th planet, and that is the 9th sun that they call Pell. And there actually is a planet there that can be habitable. So they put a star station there with the idea that we're going to also explore this planet too. And this is where everything takes place. Now, Pell and the planet, there's aliens there. They're kind of like, they're sort of like, they're less than Stone Age, sort of hairy ape men, sort of Ewok-like creatures. They're kind of a little cutesy, and there's no conflict with these aliens, but the aliens are just kind of looking at the Earthlings like kind of stupefied, like, oh my god, what's happening here? But there's no real battle or anything like that. It's sort of like a very peaceful sort of arrangement. But Pell is closer to the other star stations than Earth is. And so now Pell becomes the more important planet, which makes Earth very jealous. Like, hey, we used to be the supply chain to the universe, and now Pell has become the supply chain. And then other planets, they start to do other planets like Cytine, which apparently Cytine is another book which I do not have. I've got all my C.J. Cherryh books down here I've got about 25 CJ Cherryh books, only 3 of which I've read now. But anyway, Citeen is the sequel to this, which I don't have and I might get someday. But it's kind of like Earth is losing its power to Pell. And so now this book becomes this interstellar conflict slash family saga slash it's really got an emphasis on social sciences and logistics of and economies and how human expansion into the universe will go. And it's got a very, very large cast of characters that inhabit this station. This station that orbits around the planet Pell, and all the merchant ships that come and go, and all the intrigue and backstabbings and political intrigue. It's like a Cold War novel set in outer space, which is kind of the way Foreigner is. These books are more about political intrigue and how people will, how governments will handle things if we do expand into space, and how jealousies will take place, and just all of that. It's not Han Solo shooting blasters. There's no laser swords. There's no like big space battles. It's all just sort of political intrigue in space books. I think that's what CJ Cherryh is doing here. So far, the 3 books that I've read of hers are the exact same thing. It's good because, I mean, these are all big science fiction ideas. I love big science fiction ideas, and these are big science fiction ideas. It's more, these are not pulp science fiction novels. These are more along the lines of your Isaac Asimov, Robert Heinlein, big science fiction idea type novels. By the way, there's a character named Bluetooth in this book, and every time I would read it, I was like, Bluetooth, and I would be like, why are they talking about Bluetooth? It hasn't even been invented yet. And then there's a place called Omicron. Oh my gosh, I might have Omicron right now. I mean, I'm coughing, my throat hurts. Oh Lord, I'm filming this during the Omicron variant of coronavirus. And maybe she's prophetic here with this book. So interstellar conflict, if that's the thing you're into, these are the books for you. CJ Cherryh will hit the sweet spot there for that. I actually liked the Foreigner series better. I mean, I actually really liked these a lot better, because I think she's really, this is sort of a prelude. I mean, even though this won the Hugo Award, it's kind of like an introduction to who CJ Cherryh is really going to be in the future, because this came out in the early 80s, and this series is still going. It started in the early 2000s and it's still going. So it's kind of like, I think she went from here and then graduated to this, and this is kind of what she's really striving towards, because this is brilliant. This is brilliant too, but I think this is where she's going with her interstellar storytelling, and I really like these. This one is a good introduction to that. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. But for my betting money, I think if people were to compare the two, they might like this one a little better. At least I did. Anyway, that's my review of Downbelow Station.